What does it cost to live in Franklin, Tennessee? It's a good question. A lot of people are asking that, and we have seen some changes in the past few years. Our costs of living have gone up over the past few years in Williamson County, but especially here in Franklin, Tennessee. It's not unlivable. It's still a lot more affordable than a lot of major metros across the United States, and you still have the proximity to downtown Nashville, which is part of what makes Franklin so attractive to a lot of people coming from outside of Tennessee. But we are going to break down now what it costs to live in Franklin, and there is a really important distinction too. Franklin is a really desirable city, but it is just south of Nashville and Davidson County. Davidson County is Nashville. The county line is the Nashville city line, so we don't have the same taxes. We don't have a lot of the same prices for gas, a lot of cost of living expenses that you would have living in Nashville, but we still have access to all the amenities. And that is part of what helps Franklin maintain its charm and its integrity and the city that we all know and love, but also be a place that is just a hop, skip, and a jump to everything that is important to you and your lifestyle. Some of the big factors that go into cost of living, as you may know, is low employment, crime rates, the good school scores. School scores are so important around here, and there is such an emphasis placed on school scores. And so that goes into a lot of the reasons why Franklin, Tennessee consistently ranks in the top 10 places to live. In almost every magazine article that has a study about this, you will see Middle Tennessee, specifically Franklin, Tennessee, on one of those lists for the best places to live in America. It's not a huge surprise to those of us who live around here. We have a lot of recreation, a lot of the lifestyle amenities that I was just mentioning, but at the same time, our property taxes are still relatively low, as are our income taxes. We have zero income taxes here in the state of Tennessee. And so if you are living in a metro like California, Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, you may experience at least 10% of your income taxes there for the state. So if you are making, say, a $200,000 a year income and you move to Tennessee, that's at least $20,000 a year that you will keep in your pocket by living here and not having to pay those state income taxes. So that's a huge attraction to a lot of people who find their way to Tennessee. We are one of only 5 states in the country that have no income tax, and that is a huge attraction to be able to live here, aside from just geographically where we are located in the United States. We are very central in this half of the country to the Gulf Coast, to the East Coast, to the northern states, New England states. We can pretty much get to anywhere within a day's drive, or with Nashville International Airport, it is a one-stop flight to get there. And our property taxes, let's talk about that real quick. So our property taxes did just go up this year. So if you're watching a video about cost of living in Franklin, Tennessee, and it is not as recent as this video, then the information might be a little outdated. But here, just recently, within the past month, we did have a property tax increase, and it was our first increase that we have experienced in about 3-4 years. We didn't have an increase for several years after that big boom post-pandemic, but now we have seen that increase just based on our higher home values. And still, our property taxes are still at least 1% lower than where you would find in most major metros. Some major metros, you're going to find a 10% difference. But even 1% off the price of your home around here, a median home could be about $1 million, and you're going to see then about $10,000 savings in your annual taxes compared to most cities across the United States. So something to definitely write home about. Right there with those two things, you're already saving a huge chunk of change just from what you're not paying in taxes. We have had more people move here post-pandemic. And so everyone remembers that big boom in 2020, 2021. And so we did experience, but even before the pandemic, the greater Nashville area was experiencing about an increase of 88 people a day at one point. And I think we're still hovering around that 80 people a day moving in to Middle Tennessee, but that includes people outside of Williamson County as well. That's Rutherford County, that is Sumner County, that's Davidson County, Wilson County, Dixon County. We have people moving into the greater Nashville area still. It's a very desirable place to live. There's a lot of confidence that because of this, our home values are going to continue to maintain their value and not lose water, which a lot of people have been afraid of after the Great Recession, and that's just not something that even during the Great Recession we saw a whole lot of. So this area continues to be very attractive, but because more people are moving in, our cost of living has increased. The more people you have, the more demand you have, the more prices go up. And that's just basic supply and demand economics that really applies to anywhere in the country and anywhere you want to buy anything for the most part. All right. Our sales tax rate is in the 9% range for pretty much everywhere around here in Williamson County, Davidson County. You're going to see that. But the way that we make that work, and it's not so much of a burden to those of us who live here with the tax burden, is sales taxes help us grow revenue because of all our tourism. So our tourists who are always in and around the Franklin area, who are always in and around downtown Nashville, they also help us offset the costs of our infrastructure, of being able to make sure that our lifestyle is maintained here, that we have the appropriate amenities, the appropriate accesses to the public services that are so important to maintain our quality of life. Of course, we all always complain about transportation, gas prices, all of those fees that go with also maintaining day-to-day life. And you can expect here in Franklin, you're seeing gas prices in the $3 range, probably low $3 range, $3.20. But I don't really want to date this video too much because it can fluctuate, but we have been consistently in the $3 range. You'll notice though, in a lot of major metros outside of Tennessee, there are gas prices that hover in the $5 range. So even your day-to-day expenses like that are less, though we do have the increase of sales tax that you might not see in a lot of other metros. But again, that's our only real sales tax worth paying attention to, and that's just so that tourists can help us offset the costs and the burden isn't totally on property owners and income earners. Median sales prices here of our homes in Franklin. Now, as I mentioned, with the demand here, our home prices have increased. So our median sales prices for our homes are just over $1 million, and that is quite a bit of a jump from where we were just a few years ago. So again, if you've seen other videos talking about numbers much lower than this, they are likely outdated videos and they're likely not up to date with what we are seeing in today's market. So after that post-pandemic boom, we have been consistently hovering now around the $1 million median sales price here in Franklin, Tennessee. That is more than double what you would find for the United States median sales price. It is not all roses here. To be able to live here, to enjoy life here like most of us do, you have to pay for it. If you're not paying for the kind of life we live here, it might be too good to be true. But the median home price in a lot of the United States is about $416,000. In larger metros though, like Los Angeles, you're going to see a median home sales price for a single family home between the $1.5 million to $2 million bracket. And so that's at least $500,000 to $1 million difference than what we're seeing here. We're a lot less expensive here, almost half as expensive here in Franklin as what you would find in a larger California metro, and even more so in New York City. In New York City, $1.2 million is the median sales price for a home there, but that's not even counting a single family home. That's for something like a brownstone or another home that is attached, a townhouse or a row home type home. So you're really getting a lot more bang for your buck here in Franklin, Tennessee at $1 million median price for a regular residential single family home with a yard and dirt than what you are going to get in a lot of major metros across the United States, and then to not have the additional tax burden while you also have an incredibly awesome quality of life with schools, education, huge here, as we've mentioned, the arts, a lot of the amenities that people enjoy, not just with entertainment, but also the needs that you have, hospitals, public service, safety, checks all the boxes. And so there is a difference that you're going to have to weigh. Where are your priorities? What's important to you? And is it worth it to you, the cost to move here to Franklin, Tennessee? I'm Erika Kurre. I would love to help you out if you are considering a move here to Franklin, Tennessee, or anywhere here in the greater Nashville area. I work buying and selling homes for my clients all across Middle Tennessee, and I specialize in Williamson County. So if you found this video helpful, please like, follow, subscribe to this channel. I would love to help you, and reach out and comment if there are any questions or any needs you may have.